New year, new me bullshit.
New year, new me, exactly, right? A lot of people are super excited to take it on.
Sure. Listen, we need to take a hold of your health. I think it's a great opportunity. If you haven't already started, start.
You've been a major faster for as long as I've known you. You've been doing intermittent fasting, but overall just utilizing fasting as a way to spiritually cleanse ourselves from a lot of different things to...
He's like, are you fasting? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, how are you fasting? He goes, like, you're gaining weight. Like, how is that possible? And I said, I know, right? I still fast. And he's like, and I explained it was, well, I do have a little bit of milk in my coffee. Started doing that a little while. He goes, you're breaking your fast. He goes, you're not getting the benefits from it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 107 of the DC Talks podcast with the main man beside me, Mr. David Chinelli.
We're closer this week.
We're closer. I actually felt that pound, you know what I'm saying? But we have an exciting episode today. You know, it's the start of the year. A lot of people have amazing goals: health, fitness, financial, relationships.
New year, new me bullshit.
New year, new me, exactly, right? A lot of people are super excited to take it on. And one of the key things a lot of people focus on is their health. People want to eliminate some foods.
Which I suggest you 100% do that, right?
Exactly.
We should be doing it all year, especially after December of Christmas. Sure. Listen, we need to take a hold of your health. I think it's a great opportunity. If you haven't already started, start.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If you haven't started, start. Even if like December 21st, whatever, you're thinking about it, start then, because it sets those behaviors right then and there. One thing I want to discuss with you, DC, and we've had this conversation briefly. If you've been a major faster for as long as I've known you, you've been doing intermittent fasting, eating after a certain period in the afternoon, so forth and so on. But this episode, I wanted to focus more on the fasting aspects from your health, from like, let's say, intermittent fasting, the spiritual aspects of fasting that God talks about, why you should be fasting, in other areas in our lives where we can fast from certain things which might be addictive to us, such as our cell phones. Maybe it's from drinking certain things, but overall just utilizing fasting as a way to spiritually cleanse ourselves from a lot of different things, to renew ourselves and have our bodies start fresh. That way we can actually take on God, take on everything, listen to his word better. And overall, a lot of the different verses we can share with people about fasting that God talks about. But to kick things off, how has your fasting experience been, and when did you start fasting?
I thought I was fasting when I was a treasury analyst, because I changed my diet up a bit, in which I would work out at lunch, and then I'd come back and have a shake, and then I'd have a second shake, and then I'd have a dinner, right? And I would start doing that. And I found that me working out, I like working out in the mornings, or like at that time at lunch. I don't like eating before I work out. Yeah. So it kind of hurts my stomach. I don't even like playing hockey on a full stomach. So the journey started like a while ago, right? But what I didn't know was like when, and back in those days, I used to drink black coffee and like do all the things right. And then when COVID hit, I thought I was still kind of doing fasting, but then my taste buds, then I started adding milk to my coffee. I was trying the bullet coffees, all like with butter, and I didn't realize that was breaking my fast. Really? And so cream, anything like, I guess the rule of thumb is your coffees are less than 5 calories per cup, I guess. Anything under, I think 10 or 15 calories, you're still fasting, because it doesn't really affect you. Like, so right now I have electrolytes in here, I'm still fasting. So in a half a packet, it's like 25 grams. So now down to 12 when I put it into a big liter, and I drink that over, 4 or 5 hours after my workout. So again, I'm only getting like a small dose of calories at a time. So I'm still kind of fasting again. So that's kind of the idea. I didn't realize that the coffee was breaking my fast. And when I went to go see Dr. Knipping at the clinic, he's like, are you fasting? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, how are you fasting? He goes, like, you're gaining weight. Like, how is that possible? And I said, I know, right? I still fast. And he's like, and I explained it was, well, I do have a little bit of milk in my coffee. Started doing that a little while. He goes, you're breaking your fast. He goes, you're not getting the benefits from it. I'm like, interesting, right? So I went back about 3 years ago, I guess, of April of maybe February of 2022, and started doing just the black coffee again. And I really I know it sounds hard, guys, when you start a black coffee. Like, we drink espresso all the time without any sugar and stuff too anyway. But once you start to drink black coffee, you actually really enjoy the coffee. You can tell the difference between a good coffee and a shitty coffee. You should be drinking good coffee. You're like, that is what it is. You brew it at home, drip. Like, people they go to Starbucks, they get a triple mocha latte with 7
Extra
pumps.
pumps.
That's candy, guys. That's not.
That's death in a bottle.
Yeah, that is not a coffee. To truly to appreciate a coffee, try black. That's why Tim Hortons, and they're known Tim Hortons to have like a bland coffee because you're supposed to add, double sugar, cream. You're supposed to add it. Like my buddy worked, his family owned two Tim Hortons when I did my MBA, and he told me back then. He goes, "I'm like, why is your coffee like kind of?" And he's like, "It's on that on purpose. They want their whole thing isn't with their creams. They have a proprietary cream and the sugar, etc." So. And then once I started to know that, I'm like, I never touched black. I never touched Tim Hortons. I don't really like Tim Hortons. It doesn't have a good flavor to it.
Yeah.
But then again, so starting in the mornings, you're drinking coffee. It really allows you to hold off fasting. Sure, my stomach right now is grumbling a little bit. We're not going to eat today until probably like 3:00, right?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, right? It's just
And the reason the stomach is rumbling is because your stomach is actually cleansing itself from like all like the toxins. Because when food is not coming in your mouth, guys, if you're not feeding yourself and you haven't eaten for some time, what your body does, it uses the stored energy from the food that you ate before. So it takes that food, and that's why sometimes you feel like you're hungry, but you're not really hungry. That is just your body's reaction of telling you that, hey, you haven't eaten for some time. So we're going to cleanse your body from all the toxin, because once the food is processed, it gives you those energy sources and everything. So the rumbling in itself is actually cleansing your body from all the toxins and everything. That's why you might start going to the bathroom a little bit more. And you're actually utilizing that stored energy from the food that you ate before.
And then you get into fat cells and other stuff.
Fat cells and everything.
But I also, when I was first starting doing it again and properly in longer periods of time, sometimes you get hunger pains, it starts to hurt. And then it was all mind over matter, right? Like, listen, sometimes, like even till this day, sometimes it still hurts, right? Like and I'll just like, okay, and I look at my watch, I'm like, tough it out for a little longer, tough it out. It then becomes like a mental thing, right? And I think that's also why we talk about with prayer and God talks about fasting, because it becomes mind over matter, right? If you can do this. And you just have to believe in yourself a little bit, try it. I tell people how long I fast sometimes. And again, I'm not doing a crazy amount of fast. I start at 1:00. I'm usually done by 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and that's what I do. On the weekend, some days I'll do a 24-hour fast. There's some different methodologies that people use, like the 5-1-1 method or the 4-2-1 method. Anyway, we could talk about those. But for me, I just find sometimes I just need to do a 24-hour fast. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you work out like that? I'm like, have you tried?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not any less power. Like, it's like, I have my water with me, so I'm constantly drinking, so my body's fine. Like, don't you get hungry? No, like, don't you feel exhausted? Have you tried it? Yeah. No. Like, was it Wilt Chamberlain or was it Dr. J or what? Like, he went on a 48-hour fast and had some of his best games in the NBA. Nobody knew he was fasting for religious purposes. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was maybe Dr. J.
I'm not too sure.
And anyway, it was like, but unless you've tried, you don't know. Like, people think it's going to be so tired. Like for me, I haven't eaten since I cooked turkey tacos. I don't eat the shells, but I ate turkey tacos last night, and I haven't had anything in my system since about 8, maybe before 8 o'clock, 7:45, 8 o'clock. I've already worked out this morning. I've already had my sauna, done my walks. I'm already on our second podcast. Do I look exhausted to you? You know what I mean? Like
vibrant.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, sometimes it's mind over matter. When I do a 24-hour fast, for example, like usually it's like on a Saturday. I love doing that because I break my fast with a steak. And that's the other thing. When you guys the key to fasting is when you break it, have high protein. Okay, it's not sugars or anything, that's a high protein. But I find when I'm like past the 12-hour mark, I don't need food. I was watching a video of somebody who's done 4-day fast, I think is water fast, 1 week fast. One guy did a 30-day fast, and he's like, I remember going through the airport and I was like, oh my God, I need to eat something now because I'm going to be on a flight and I'm going to be hungry. And he goes, now I go through the airport differently. He goes, your body actually doesn't need as much food as society has told you you've needed.
Yeah. And
that's the thing is like when people say like, oh, you got to be careful with fasting. It's going to make you fat. Your body's going to think you're starving. Really? Is it? Some of the biggest bodybuilders in the world fast for like almost every day I know some of them will only eat one meal a day. and you're trying to tell me he's fat. Like the guy's ripped. I'm not sure like do steroids, all that. But he eats one meal a day. Like there's a lot of these guys that only eat one meal a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, explain to me how he's not fat. Explain that to me.
Yeah.
And then they're high protein meals, right? And it just, so it's a mind over matter thing. And I find that once you, like, if you've ever tried like a 24-hour fast, and Bush try a 48-hour fast. Like I want to do, I might try a 72 this year. But now it's hard for me in my business because I take out clients so often. For me to do it's more like God, let's go for dinner as I have green tea. You know, I mean, it just doesn't go over. It doesn't hit the same exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of these things, DC, right? We were natural fasters back in the day, right? 1900s. If you look at the way we were eating before,
we got to remember we didn't have refrigerators.
So a lot of things have changed over the past 150 years. One of the key things that happened was the introduction of like the 3-day meal, right? So you have breakfast, you have lunch, you have dinner.
3-meal day.
3 meals.
If they said 3-day meal.
Oh, that's what I meant, right?
Imagine a 3-day meal. That'd be amazing. Talk about a gorging the fast. Holy shit.
You know, feasting. But that's what they did. So they did this to introduce certain foods that they wanted to sell. One of the key things was, you know, sausages, cereals. They're looking at, Kellogg was actually looking to, okay, how do we get people to consume more food in the morning? So if you think about it, we never used to consume that much food anyway. We were eating, and that's why you look back in the pictures back in the day, everyone was slender, everyone was fit. You look at the pictures of the beach, everyone is slimmer.
Well, it's not just because of that.
Well,
it's also what we're consuming.
Seed
oils. They switched. They demonized fat and didn't realize that sugar was the actual biggest culprit. They demonized salt. You know how much salt I have in a day? It's ridiculous. I drink salt water.
Celtic salt?
Yeah, Celtic salt. Yeah. Drink salt water. So Ariana's mom gave me like this really nice. Ariana, my agent, is her mom has like this amazing salt. So she gave me a little. So every morning I put some on my tongue before I have my animal kinase. Yeah, and I drink it with water, and then like so it helps cleanse your body. Like you should be. There's that one doctor on Instagram, I forget his name, but he's like, those little snippets. He's like, whatever the government has told you, do the exact opposite. You know, fast every day, drink electrolytes, salt all of your food with good salt. Remember, there's a difference between table salt and sea salt. Table salt is NaCl, sodium chloride. There's only 2 elements. Sea salt, naturally forming, has over 82 elements in it. Try to put the NaCl on your tongue, it'll burn. Grab a rock salt, put it in, you can play around with it. It has a good sweet savor. It's a savor to it. It's a really nice flavor to it. So I put rock salt in my mouth, and water doesn't burn, right? Whereas table salt is all chemicals. So when I say salt your food, good salt. When I say put butter and use fat, good fats. Like, for example, with ghee, which is a form of the butter, which is like they take out the lactose on it too. Yeah. You should be cooking with that, or butter is a good source to cook with. Olive oil is a good source of fat, but you really should, that and avocado oil, you should not be heating up because it turns rancid. It has a lot of these free radicals. Put those on your salads. And like so avocados are fantastic, but you got to be careful with heating them up. All right. And nowhere in your pantry should be canola oil. Nowhere should it be. It has caused inflammation. It causes heart attacks. It causes, as people say, like, you've eaten too much fat. It's like, it's all that shit. It should never be part. Go to natural forms of fat. In a steak, don't cut out that fat. Eat that steak. Eat that fat.
That steak,
it's so good. And that's where the flavor is. Yeah. So anyway, like, they have demonized so many things. Eggs. You should be eating the whole egg. The whole egg. The yolk and all. That's where all the nutrients are. So when I'm telling you when you break your fast, your body is now depleted, right? So if you do like a 72-hour fast, your body, you actually feel like almost euphoric, lighter. You feel more in touch.
You feel more, you have a lot of clarity.
Absolutely. So when you're going to refuel your body, don't put crap in your body.
Yeah.
Don't eat a Pop-Tart. Like bread is terrible. Cereal. Oh my God. My kids love cereal. And I used to like cereal when I was a kid. So I can't say no, but God, do you guys need to eat that shit? And
it's a lot of sugar.
It's a lot. What's a lot of carbs? And we go back to that test where they had with the steel cut oats and the oatmeal and the eggs, and the people that eat the eggs, felt satiated longer, we're healthier, and never didn't eat as much. And then the calories are less. Whereas when you're having these refined carbs, first of all, your sugar spikes, right? And then but you get hungrier faster. It's a way to addict you, right? Yeah. So what I'm telling you, if you haven't tried a fast, start slow. Do something. My wife, I think, starts at 12 o'clock and she's done like by 8 or 9 o'clock. So sometimes she'll fast until 11 o'clock, right? It's like sort of in the day. I can't go that early. I need to go later, but start small. If you can, push it, make that narrow. But the trick is, guys, when you are refueling your body, it should be with quality protein and fats.
And we also got to talk about the spiritual side of fasting as well.
Absolutely.
Too. God talks a lot about fasting.
I have this quote over here, so it's not from God, but you can
Yes.
you can tie this into yours. So we don't obviously prepare. We kind of like talk. We like to have the conversation, guys, like as if we're really having it in real life. Yeah. There's nothing you say this and you say that. I don't like. This is not scripted by any stretch.
I give David the topics. He prepares his own notes and his thoughts, so we can come together and find and have a healthy discourse. So
I just did a quick search yesterday. It's like fasting, because I could talk about fasting and spiritual. I knew you have quotes on it too, so I want to see the biblical quotes on it. Yeah. And I didn't want to do too much on the biblical side because I know you already handle that. But I just put in there spiritual aspects of fasting, and I love this. It said, fasting is about humbling our hearts before God. Fasting and praying are about giving up the thing that you seek for satisfaction in order to draw near to God, allowing God to satisfy you. The length of time and what you're fasting from depends on what your sense of God pressing you to do. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think that's amazing.
What's your biggest takeaway from that?
Well, it tells you so in the Bible, it keeps talking about prayer and fasting. So I feel like when you're empty, you're like, hopefully God fills you up with things you need. Like you're going to him. I'm like, I'm at my, not low point, but I'm like, I'm depleted of all the stuff which I need. And I'm like, I need you for sustenance. Yeah. I need you to fill me. Every morning when I pray, the prayer we ask is like for God to, and obviously when we're fasting, we don't break the fast before we get into the prayer. And I ask God every single day is like, walk me through what you want to teach me today.
I like that.
Show us what it is that you want. And Kukoc and I and my mom will read sometimes, and all of a sudden God will hit me with something and it's like, hey, this is what I meant by that. I'm like, I've read this thing 4 or 5 times. I never once got that. I'm like, whoa, hold a second. Coach comes and goes, where did that come from? I'm like, I don't know. And when I was reading this, a thought popped into my mind. And that's what it is, because you're not full. What drives me nuts is on Saturday mornings. On Saturday mornings, I pray with my family. So I try to do the same thing. So we don't necessarily go to a church, because we were talking before off script. Like, there's not a church which I found is the true word of God fulfills everything according to him. So I feel like there's a lot of control churches and stuff too. That's not always, God's not always there. But at least when 2 or more people are in God's word, God is there and God's present. That is technically a church. We, other people, are his church. So I'm trying to get my family on the trend. So we read a couple of chapters on Saturdays. We keep the Sabbath day. We keep God's commandments, his law. But my little ones, God help them. Every time I sit down, they're munching on things, eating them, like, drives me nuts. I'm like, can you not eat while we're praying? Lock in. Just a pet peeve I have. And hopefully they'll grow out of that, because I'm getting more and more upset at them. Dad, what are you talking about? I'm just having this. Dad, what is it? Come on. It's just a piece of fruit. Dad, it's just a little bowl of cereal. Prayer and fasting. Sorry, my little rant.
Yes. But getting into the biblical side of things, right? So there are 10 biblical reasons for fasting, and there's things I can give you, the 10 reasons, and I can actually share with you the different verses you can actually go and expand upon this more. So in the Bible, there are 10 biblical reasons. So number 1 is strength in prayer. If you want to learn more about this, you can read Ezra 8:23. As David said in his reasons, right, with his family, his mom, and Kukoc in the morning, is seeking guidance. A great verse about this is Judges 20:26, express grief, right, which is Samuel 31:13. Another one is seek deliverance and protection. So if you're going through a lot of challenges, if you're going through some things that you need to really let go of, perhaps it's in the past and you want to just have that deliverance and protection, maybe you've gone through some traumatic phases.
I want to add to that before you move on with that.
It's 2 Chronicles 20, verse 3-4. DC, I'll let you jump in here. real
Yeah,
quick.
so there's many people online have talked about how their anxiety dissipated when they started reading the Bible. If you're suffering from sort of anxiety, try fasting in the morning, pray. Like if you don't know where to pray, Google anxiety in the Bible and use the King James Version Bible is the closest we have to the, and it might be a little more difficult to read New English, but try reading and pray on that. Even if you are a non-believer, you might become one. Just try it. If you've tried everything else, you've tried drugs, you've tried all this other stuff, and trust me, there's a lot of people that have done that. And even some of these former atheists have come out and they've said, I just started, a buddy of mine suggested I just read the Bible, these kind of passages. And he goes, next thing you know, I'm a believer. Again, that doesn't have to happen to you, but if you've tried everything else, why not try the Bible? Sorry, go on.
Exactly. And then the other one is to express repentance and return to God. So a great one of that is Samuel 7:6. Humble yourself before God. You can read Kings 21 from 27-29. Express concern for God's work. So you can read Nehemiah 1-4, and minister to others' needs. So minister to others' needs, you can check out Isaiah 58 from 3-7. We got two more here: overcoming temptation and dedicate yourself to God. A lot of us are tempted to do a lot of things, reverting back to old habits, things that you're not really proud of, things you do in the dark when no one's looking. You need to fast from those behaviors.
Even things you think about.
You think about.
So even in your head. So when you're alone by yourself, your dark side comes out. And also, like they say sometimes that's how the devil creeps in. Like a little crack at the time, he'll put it in his voice. It's trying about keeping him at bay. Like, sometimes you always have imposter syndrome or something like that too. Like, what do you think that comes from? It's like, that comes from like your thoughts on yourself and somebody else creeping in and giving that negative thought. And if I told you can get rid of that by reading a Bible, believing and praying, like, why not try it? Right. Like, there's
absolutely,
we're in a society right now that needs God.
Yeah. We need a lot of fasting. A lot of the fasting comes from the images we see, especially as you mentioned from social media. A lot of us are addicted to our phones. As much as they help us, communicate, grow our businesses, there's times I realized, DC, I'm such an addict of TikTok. I mean, I'm a fiend. One of my goals this year was to actually leave my phone in the counter and actually have my alarm for 5 a.m. in the morning, gym 5 to 6, come back, shower, 7:30 is my time to be in prayer. There were times where the devil was tempting me. I'll share that with you. I was so bored. I was like, okay, I've done my work for the day. I need to.
And you masturbated. Sorry, sorry.
You have to choke it up.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but I realized I was like going back and forth. I was finding excuses to go back. I was like, let me just go to the washroom real quick. And that was actually my reason to go to the counter, look at TikTok. Okay, let me see what TikTok is saying. Let me see what Twitter is saying. I'm addicted to doom scrolling. And we need to fast from
doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling. So doom scrolling is just when you're bored, you're just like, okay, let me check out Twitter. Let me check out, and you're just scrolling mindlessly, watching stories and everything. You realize how much you're so filled up with everybody's lives every single day that you need to fast from actually looking at people and actually just take a moment to yourself, listen to your own thoughts. That dopamine that you're getting every single time from your phone, you need to fast from that and seek the better dopamine, which is actually working on yourself, reading the Bible, going to the gym, working on hobbies. We don't realize
playing board games with your wife and your kids.
Exactly.
We do that all the time.
Some wholesome stuff.
Actually, over the break, I think Natalie and I got some good sequences. We started doing Gin Rummy 500, right? I've been kicking her ass lately, which is good. So she was humbling me, and I don't like losing. Yeah. But she was humbling me in sequence. She was kicking my ass a lot. I was like, but we go through 3 or 4 hour sessions of playing, and we're like, my kids are like, you guys are still playing? We're like, yeah, like we just got into it. Like, and our phones away. It was great. And also during the holidays, it was great because there wasn't a lot, because it wasn't the pinging. But I find that when I'm in front of the TV, which is another source, we really should fast from TV. I'm on my phone. It's really hard for me to watch TV without being on my phone.
Why are you on your phone?
Does that make any sense? Like,
so you're consuming the media on your phone and you're also consuming TV.
That's right.
When did you actually, like, when was it that you realized this is a problem?
Oh, it's been a problem for a couple of years.
You've noticed it.
Oh yeah. Even Natalie's like, you have to be on your phone. I'm like, like I'll be playing a game. It's not even scrolling. Like I have a couple games, like there's a matching game I have on the phone. Like it's like you got to find the things that are missing between one picture and another picture. And then like there's one game that does that, or I'll play like sequence, or there's like a numbers game. Like I like numbers, so there's a math game which I'm playing, and like while I'm watching TV. So my brain is working.
And then you're responding to emails.
Always.
You're checking out your business stuff.
What drives me nuts is well, now I'm obviously don't have my Apple Watch, and there's a reason why I'm on my Apple Watch right now, because the thing just keeps buzzing and
Notifications
buzzing,
all the time, eh?
And if I'm watching TV and I have my Apple Watch, I gotta throw it across the room because it's because otherwise I'm not, like, it's constantly on, and all the emails. Because yesterday I remember we were coming to the office to do my mentorship, so I was mentoring the agents yesterday, and it was like, so I get here around 10:15, sometimes 10:30. And I started working out yesterday, like 7 a.m., 7:15 or something like that. So I had literally, and then while I was working out, I was kind of checking. I check my emails in between, right? So in between, I'll check emails here and there. I remember jumping in the shower, 9 o'clock, I think it was, but to get my way here. Within an hour, I think I had 60 emails by the time I sat in the office. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So that means my phone, sorry, my watch is constantly going. So like, I get you get a nicer watch. I want to wear my nice watch, but I also like the watch because it counts my steps, and I know I could turn off notifications and all that stuff too, but it's like, but then why do you have an Apple Watch, right? So I know I'm kind of struggling with that. So I try to balance that back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, do I need my watch for here? Okay, you're kind of like, I'm going on the mall today. Maybe I'll throw on the steps over here. I do have a step counter on there. I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to figure out how to, fast, away from gadgets.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be more present with my kids, right? Because I notice when we go to restaurants, I don't know if years and years ago, we went to Derek Gorgie, my friend, we talked about Derek and his wife, Julianne, some of our closest friends, if not our closest friends, were living in the UK. So his work had brought him over there, and he was there for 5 years. And we went there, God, what was it, 2017, we went to go visit them. And they have two boys. So their oldest boy is a few months younger than Mila. He was born in September. Mila was born in July. And their younger son is a year younger than Matea. So they always kind of got along and all that stuff too. But I remember we're in the UK, we went to a lot of restaurants. And Julianne had brought coloring stuff for the kids, like just a little pad and stuff too. Like gave them pads and pens. Since that time, obviously my kids are good artists, but I think part of the reason why they're such good artists is we've kept that tradition. Every time we're at a restaurant, they were so quiet. They didn't need an iPad. Mm-hmm. Now with their phones, we get mad at them. Like, which phone's? Like, well, Dad, you're on your phone. I'm like, well, I'm trying to answer a work email here, like before we can enjoy dinner, and I'll put it away. I also have to do that too, right? To set a good example. But we try not to have phones at our table for dinner, but also when we're out for dinner. And that trend started when they were really, really young. So if you have they love drawing to this point. At some point, they're in class. Like Mila used to get in trouble because she was during a test to start doodling because she's so used to doodling. But that's her skill. She loves it. But that time away from the phones, because we didn't give them iPads, stuff too, their skills got better because of that. And a lot of that we have to attribute to the Gorgies for that. And I think they started that trend, which wasn't a problem when they're kids, right? Think about it. When in 2017, Mila was born in 2010. She was 7. Girls. She was 7 and 5. They were 7 and 5 at the time. But that trend has continued. And I think that's part of what set her along the journey. She always had the skills, but I think now, when they go out, they're always remembering of doing that thing. So think about that, guys. If you're at your house and you're like, you don't need your phone, what skill are you hurting by using your phone?
Yeah.
What skill are you not paying attention to because you're watching the TV too long? So we use the TV to relax because, our lives are hectic. So I think yesterday I finally sat down after doing paperwork and all that too. And I sat down and jumped on my phone. We watched the hockey game. And then after the first period, we played rummy for a couple hours and stuff too, just to get our mind together. And then I was tired. We went to bed. But that also trains your brain. What the phone does and the TV does is again, it's good. It gives you the dopamine, but a lot of times it's not challenging your brain. Unless you're going into games that are challenging. But again, you shouldn't be in front of the phone that long anyway. So what skills are you missing out on because you're addicted to that thing?
What moments are you missing out on?
That's a huge one too. That's a good one too. Yeah.
What moments are you missing out on?
Yeah.
So we've discussed a lot of reasons why you should fast from a health reason and also from like a personal growth reason, but let's also get into how to fast, right? So I wrote down 7 reasons. I mean, 7 ways you can begin.
We only have about 5 minutes left, right?
Yeah, I'll be able to cover it.
Okay. Right, Isaac?
Yeah.
Probably less.
So number 1 is clarify your personal reasons, right? So common reasons include seeking guidance, grieving, or facing major life decisions. Choose a method. Choose a method of how you're going to fast. So this includes a complete fast. So this is no food at all. The second way is a partial fast. You can drastically reduce your caloric intake. Number 3, determine the duration you want to fast for. So options include intermittent fasting, daily fasting for set hours, or periodic fasting, which is weekly or monthly. So you can do like a bi-weekly fast for like 24 hours, clean up your body, rejuvenate yourself with a healthy meal, perhaps like some meat or some veggies. A common way to do that to get your energy back is to eat watermelon too. Do you have another thing to add in there?
Yeah, I don't really like veggies. I'm like, be careful of the veggies. Make sure they're on the clean 15.
The clean 15? Okay. And then create time to focus. So clear your schedule, dedicate time to prayer, study, and reflection. Number 5 is set a physical space. So dedicate a distraction-free area for prayer and meditation during fasting. This also helps while you're also not eating. Once you can actually channel yourself with God, it also helps expedite everything to the way you want it to happen. Monitor your personal health. So consult a doctor if fasting for more than 24 hours, especially if you have pre-existing health conditions. I know we're talking about fasting and everything like that, but a lot of us might have health issues and we are not doctors here at the end of the day. This is our own personal opinion. So don't take our word as like final that these guys they have their medical degrees and everything. Consult your health practitioner to see if this is a good fit for you. And lastly is breaking the fast. So gradually return to normal eating to avoid overindulgence. When you come out of a fast, you'll be really hungry. You want to eat everything that's in front of you. I personally don't recommend that. DC, what do you recommend?
So a couple of things. When you are fasting, when we're talking about prayer and stuff too, you got to also remember to be humble, right?
Yes.
So don't go around saying, look at me, I'm fasting. Look how close I am to God. It takes away from it, right? Like, remember, like God has always talked about when you do pray, pray, be humble, go into a corner, remember, into a closet, or do something in your quiet space in your room and pray directly to God. So if you are fasting, it's good. So maybe obviously you have to tell people if you're out for dinner, like, what, I'm not doing this. I'm like, you can say that. But what I'm saying is don't go around saying how wonderful it is that I'm fasting and you're not. I'm better than you. Okay. That's the first point. The second thing is there are different variations of how you can fast. Like I like to intermittent fast like almost every day, and then once in a while I'll take a week out. Like the weekend I'll take, like I said before, I might fast at 24 hours. That's kind of what's worked for me. But I might try one of these other variations. There's 3 of which I think his name is Dr. Palumbo. Talks about, I don't know if I say his last name correctly, but there's the 5-1-1 fasting diet. There's a 4-2-1 fasting diet, and there's a 3-2-2 fasting diet. Now, the 5-1-1 is you fast regularly, like every single day, intermittent fasting for 5 days. You do 1 day where you completely fast for 24 hours, and then 1 day you just feast. Eat whatever's in sight, hopefully good food. That's the idea. Similar with the 4-2-1 is like intermittent fast for 4 days, you 24-hour fast for 2 days, and then you feast 1 day. And then there's the 3-2-2, intermittent fast 3 days, feast 24-hour fast for 2 days, and then feast for 2 days. You can try it also if that's something you want to do, if it's part of your health routine. If you want to do that, I think you might want to try one of these if you find the intermittent fasting is not for you. If you really just want to feast out 1 day and just gorge, that might work for you. Fine, And then honestly, when you're gorging and stuff too, I joke about it too, but you could do some like a cheat meals in those days, have some fries and stuff too. As long as you also remember, like, when it comes to fitness or when it comes to health, some people think it's a 70-30 rule, other people 80-20. As long as you're right on the mark, 70 to 80% of the time, you will get the benefits. You don't have to do 100% of the time being healthy all the time, right? It's the only way I know you'll fail is if you try to be perfect 100% of the time. We're all human. You want to indulge in a cheeseburger and all the grease and the French fries. Do that on one of your feasting days. Go ahead.
It tastes so good.
Yeah.
It tastes so good. To add to that, I actually had some notes on the different types of fasting. We're close to wrapping up, but there's 5, there's a weekly fast, which is the ongoing regular fast that's done once a week. You can also do a partial fast. David mentioned this as well. So restricting certain foods or drinks, such as fasting from meals during certain times of the day and from certain substances. A complete fast, which is abstaining from both food and water for a certain period of time. This is more
I don't recommend that one. No.
Yeah, this is more of an intense fast and should be done carefully, ensuring that your health is not compromised.
Did you know during those fasts too, like sometimes you're not even supposed to shower because your body will absorb the water if you want it to cool it. Yeah.
Oh, that's levels.
Yeah.
That's levels.
Crazy.
And then there's a liquid fast, which involves consuming only liquids such as veggie juices or water for a set period.
And tea and stuff.
And tea, right? And then lastly, there's the Esther fast, right? So this is a 3-day fast. So a fast involving no food or drink for 3 days, often used for urgent prayer requests or deep spiritual breakthrough. So this is a fast.
Don't do that very often.
Yeah. So this is a fast is named after Queen Esther in the Bible, who fasted to seek God's favor. So that's on the extreme end. If you've never done a fasting before, as DC mentioned, we don't recommend that. It's a gradual process as you get used to the process and the whole practice of it. But this involves other things as well. We mentioned if you're addicted to your phone, social media, doom scrolling like I am, perhaps delete the app for maybe 2 weeks if you're going to take a break from Instagram and all the instant dopamine you get from Instagram and social media. Delete the app. If you got to communicate with people, like maybe you got clients, use the laptop. I found the laptop actually really works. You're not scrolling. You can actually respond to messages.
And what Owen loves to do is pick up the phone and call.
I'm a chatter.
Sometimes I'm busy. Like, MF, man, I'm busy. Just text me.
Working.
Dude, I'm working. I'm like, yeah, but no. I do love our chats. I do. But sometimes when we chat, like sometimes it's like hours on end and we're like, dude, we got to cut this off.
Yeah. And the reason I like to call DC just because I want to hear like, hey, how you doing? Like, a quick check-in, right? But I know he's a busy guy with a lot of things on the go. So I should probably preface by texting him like, hey, like
my mom does that too. Hey, can I call you? Are you free? She does that. Yeah. I've conditioned her.
I haven't learned yet, guys. So, but I'm learning
slowly. It's only been 2 years.
Exactly.
We're on year 3.
Anyways, guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode. Learn more. Again, these are our own personal opinions. We're not doctors. We're not medical practitioners. These are just own personal opinions from experience. Look more into it. There's a biblical aspect to it, the spiritual side of it, and also a health aspect of fasting. Again, go do your own research. But from what we've learned, there's a lot of benefits that could help you take that next step within your growth and your own health as well. DC, any parting words before we close off?
Well, no, I think that fasting has really changed my life and my wife as well. Like, so we've really adopted it. And if you really do want to change it, like our doctor recommended to us. So that's when we started to do it. And do what's right for you. Like there's a lot of people telling you what works, but try it out. Like, like I said, maybe just start like fasting to like 11 o'clock and then stop eating by 7 or 8 o'clock at night. You'll sleep better too, because you're not full, So I would, at least try it a couple of days a week, see how you feel and prolong. I just went full on. I jumped in 2 feet right away. Let's do it. 1 o'clock till 7 o'clock. Let's just go in. There was a little bit of hunger pains in the beginning,
but you got used to it. Amazing. Well, see you guys next week. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, any real estate related questions, make sure to hit up David at David V
Chinelli _ realtor.
Email dchinelli@royallepage.ca, and we'll see you in the next episode for episode 108. It's been a great one. Have a great week and chat to you soon. Peace.